Okay, so welcome to this breakfast. And as you can see, we will be talking about ensuring compliance. It was announced that I will be doing this together with my colleague Lina Philipsson. This is not Lina, this is instead my very competent colleague Sara Falkenklint, who is a senior consultant and trainer. Yeah.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
And I will do it together with Marika Lundin, who is also a senior QA consultant and trainer. And we come both from GBA Key2Compliance.
Right, so there are many things that you will need to know and have in place when you move your product or your organization from research to the market. We will focus on one of these things today, which is compliance. Thank you. And we would like to illustrate the journey that you need to make from research through clinical studies to the market with a ladder, because we see it as you need to, well, obviously you need to take one step at a time, and one thing builds upon the next. First of all, I would like to know a little bit about you, where you are on this ladder. You are probably one of the climbers. So if you please, everyone can just raise your hands for a second. Thank you. Anyone having products on the market to patient can bring down your hands. Now everyone did. So okay, so we'll do it the other way around. Anyone with products on the market, please raise your hands. Okay. Anyone in clinical studies, please raise your hands. Okay, very good. Anyone in research? Okay. So, and I think perhaps there are some of you that have not raised your hands, and that's probably or perhaps because you are in a supporting function, perhaps with consultancy, equipment, patent attorneys, for example. Any one of those here? Thank you. Okay, so when you are climbing these steps, you need to know, and also you need to have an eye on the top of this ladder, and always know what to expect when it comes to competence. What do you need to have in place for the next step? And the reason for this is that having the correct competence is it's a requirement. Full stop. It's not optional, it's compulsory. So this is, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is some sentences in the ATMP guideline which says that you need to have the adequate number of personnel with appropriate qualifications and adequate practical experience relevant to the intended operations. So it's not optional. Also, of course, it's good practice. So why is this important? Why is it written in the regulations? Sorry. Because 100% of our medicinal products need to be safe, efficient, and of high quality. And to make that happen, we need to make sure that we know our processes and our product really, really well. Because the medicinal products are given to sick and ill people. And also faulty medicine can also be deadly. So even if it's in the regulations and we need to comply with that, we always need to remember that it's for the safety of the patient, everything that we do, and we need to have the competence in place. Right, and working with ATMP can be a challenge, more than conventional medicines sometimes.
Yes, because there are many things with ATMPs that are special and complex and a little extra challenging. And here are some of these. So first of all, the product itself is complex and the processes are complex. We are not just talking about chemical substances, we are talking about cells, genes, and that comes with complexity and also processes that are more difficult to control. We also have inherent variability, both in the starting or raw material, when it comes to, for example, cells from donors, those can vary, of course. We also have variability in the processes themselves. For example, when we are cultivating or expanding cells. The products are often tailored or sometimes tailored for a certain patient, and we have limited batch sizes, which are also making it more complex or difficult with the scale up and so. There are often academic or hospital settings, which are also challenging, because that may not always fulfill the requirements in the regulation, the GMP settings. And ATMPs are in the front line of research. There is a lot of innovation going on. And we, of course, want to use that, but that makes it complex. There are not any standard things, not standard methods or standard testing or those things yet. And we also want to use that new technology. So to ensure everything of this, you need to have competence. And how do you ensure that? We go back to our ladder and start from the bottom. And each of these steps, we will go through the different steps. Each step here, to come to the next step, we need to add on competence and add on knowledge. So it's not that we can remove anything, it's more adding on an extra layer of competence and knowledge. And what's important in the different steps? So first, here we have a little researcher. So in the research phase, it's of course curiosity. We need to be curious and flexible. Here we want to come up with new ideas and try them out and see if we potentially can make them to medicines at the end. And here then we want to be flexible, and things happen a lot. We want to be able to take in new technologies, and we need to know the product and process to build on. And already here we need to start thinking about documentation and traceability, because that will really makes it easier in the following steps. And also we need to think of a good, if you have a bad documentation here, it can kill your whole project, because you need to build it on later on. Then we jump to when we aim from clinical studies. In this phase, we start to have GMP. As soon as we produce medicines for humans, we need to have GMP. And with that, we need to have controlled processes. And here it's definitely required to have documentation and traceability. And here it's all about the safety for the patient. So that's the main thing we need to think of. We need to have quality management system. We need to be in compliance with regulation. And we need to start with a quality culture. And what do we mean with that? Everyone needs to be involved and be aware of the quality and work quality-wise. So quality should be built in everything that we do here. And that everyone ensures to deliver the right quality and to think of this little patient here. And in the next step of the ladder, then we are going for product to patient. Of course, we need to have GMP compliance here. And we also need to ensure the product quality, of course, but with consistency. So we need to ensure that it's not only safe once, but we need to have processes that are stable and consistently give a good result. And we need to have it upscaled to be able to produce to the market or to patient. And also, besides the safety, we also need to think about costs. Because here we want to have it on a commercial product. We also have a hospital exemption, of course, but with a commercial product, we need to earn money in the end. That's, otherwise we cannot have the company. And we also need to start thinking about the supply chains and logistics to get both to get material in, but also get it to the patient. And we need to be ready for audits and inspections from regulatories. And these are, of course, just small steps. It's a lot of more things, of course, involved in every step. But here are the big picture. And to remember that it's all about adding on, not removing anything, but adding on. So already if you are here at the research, you need to start thinking of how should we continue? How should we ensure the competence and knowledge in each step? So, building the competence, with what? What does the regulation say? So, all personnel should receive training on the principle of GMP, both initially and periodically. And it should be training specific to manufacturing, testing, and traceability. So, what should we, just shortly, what to start with? It depends, of course, where you are in your process, if you are already on clinical. But when we are thinking, when you're going from research and aiming ahead, so it's important to early focus on, first of all, the product and process. This is what your main part here, of course, and you have to have knowledge about this. And how can you ensure the competence, how you should ensure your product, thinking about facility equipment, how can you qualify that to ensure the product in the end? How should you test your product to ensure the product in the end? Suppliers is a very important thing, both if you have outsourced manufacturing, but also suppliers of material and so on. And raw and starting material, which is a little bit extra tricky with ATMPs. You need to ensure that it's suitable for your product and process. Documentation, to have a good document system in place to ensure that you are protecting your data and that you have traceability for the long time periods that we need to have traceability. You need to have a quality management system in place. And everything should be based on risk management. So in everything that you do, you should think risk-based. So have risk to base your decisions and to control the processes. And how should you then do this? Let's continue. Building competence. How should we do that, Marika?
So, of course, on an overall level, there are things that you need to ensure. This is more the high-level things. Of course, you need to hire persons with the right competence, that goes without saying, but also make sure to hire the people with the right mindset. We talked about quality culture, and that the right mindset would be to accept that and have that in your backbone. You need to hire people that will do the right thing even when no one is looking. Also, make sure to share the knowledge within the organization. You can do that through using cross-functional teams, for example, or to make sure that any new knowledge that you have is included in your process. Quality culture, of course, this needs to be inherent in the organization, and it starts from the top. It starts from the management and should trickle down all through the organization. You cannot start from the bottom and let it trickle up. You need to have a management that understands this. And also, a lot of people use external expertise for certain tasks, external consultants, which is fine, which is good, but make sure that you are involved in their work so you can actually learn from them to get that knowledge into your organization. And trainings, of course, which is one of our business areas and the things that we are really passionate about. There are many items that could be listed under trainings. Mentoring, job shadowing, qualification, certification, simulation, and practice. All that is good, and you need to have that included in your processes. But then you have the more tailored, specific trainings. And you can see we have highlighted the word interactive. And why did we do that? Because passive transfer of knowledge is not an effective way. I know for myself, if I just read something without applying it, I forget it the day after. So in order for you to actually use the knowledge, make sure that it's an interactive training. And what do we mean with interactive trainings? Include people, make sure that they think, have discussions, reflections, challenges, exercises, quizzes, whatever you can think of. And this is something that we always include in our trainings when we provide them. This is something called Bloom's taxonomy, and I will not go into that, but as you can see, there are different layers of learning. It starts with just remembering, and then you understand, and then you're actually able to apply it and to evaluate it and to analyze the knowledge that you have. And this is where you want to be in your knowledge, in your organization. So this is how we should include it, but we also need to make sure that we maintain the training in some way. Okay, that's for you.
Yes, so as it said in the regulation, we don't just need to do an initial training. We need to maintain it as well. And for example, there might be new regulations, updated regulations, directives, or guidelines. For example, the ATMP guideline is about to be updated. There is a concept paper out now, so that is important to be aware of when things happen that can affect you and your organization. Refresher training, you need to go through the training again, so it's not just once and then you forget about it. The practice in industry is to have a refresher training once a year, and regularly is what's said in the regulation. And retraining, especially if there comes a deviation, you might need to be retrained on a certain task or topic. And knowledge management. And this is especially when you are in the development phases, that when you develop and when you are in clinical studies, for example, you learn a lot of things, and make sure to use that, to take it back to your processes, to improve your processes, and to ensure that it's spread. And here it comes with the quality culture again, that we are sharing information, sharing knowledge, so that not just one person knows about this, because that is very, very vulnerable to the organization. So ensure to include and share the knowledge. And we need to do this together. The quality work is a teamwork that everyone needs to contribute to that. Then I will hand back to you. How can we help?
Okay, so what can Key2Compliance do for you in this setting? This is you. This is your organization, or this is you. So how can we help you to be that superhero? Well, we can help you with your quality system. Depending on the level where you are on that ladder, you will need different things. So you will need expertise regarding what you need in that specific step, and also what you need to think of in the future. Oh, sorry. We can support you with specialists. So both me and Sara are consultants, for example, but we are more. We can help you with quality assurance, gap analysis, risk management, well, almost whatever you need, qualification and validation, but a lot of different things. Supplier management, something that is really critical also, I think, early in the process when you're already in the research, because you need to make sure that the material that you use is actually applicable also in the later stages. And last, of course, trainings. And as you can see, I added interactive trainings because this is the best way to learn. So we have a lot of different topics where we can help you with trainings. It can be, you can attend our public trainings, or we can do an in-house for you, which could be tailored to your needs. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry. So GBA Key2Compliance don't only work with pharmaceuticals. There's also other business areas working with medical device, doing the same things that we have been talking about. So in case you need that, please reach out to the company. If you want to contact us or discuss, visit the webpage, send an email, or reach out to me or Sara directly. We would be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn if you want to. So if you want to have questions or want something to discuss after today, but we will also stay on.
Yes, we will stay so we can.
Okay, thank you.